أجمعين. نوينا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهني وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين 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 يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let us begin with reading from this book. If you all have this book, we will read from this book first. Do you have this book? Do you have this? I think your mother has. That's your mother. Do you have a notebook? Then you got a notebook. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, we are on page 77. Yeah, in this book, we are on page 77. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Making the difference. So now she says, this life is never about what he has written for you. Instead, it is about your response to that which has been written for you. There is the big difference there. The first thing is, what has Allah written for you? That means what has Allah decreed for you? What Allah wants for you. Second one is, how you respond. How you react, how you respond to what Allah has given you and what Allah wants for you, right? And there is a hadith, there is a saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whereby he said that Allah says, Nabi Muhammad said that Allah says, O son of Adam. And son of Adam means the children of Adam, right? All of us, we're all the sons of Adam, right? Son also means daughters, all right? So, O the son of Adam, Allah says, O human being, O human being, you want and I want. Right? Human beings, we want a lot of things. And Allah also wants things from us. Right? You want and I want. If you submit to what Allah wants, that means you accept whatever Allah wants from you or for you, Allah will give you better than what you want, because you don't know what is good for you, right? But if you insist to get what you want, means you're stubborn and you only want what you want, right? If you insist to get what you want, you will fall flat on your face, because you won't get it. You will fail in getting it. You will fall flat on your face, and you won't get anything except what Allah wants. Right? No matter what, all that happen is what Allah has said will happen. You can't change it. Nobody can change it. As if Allah has said this will happen to you, it will happen to you. No matter how much you try to change it, if Allah does not allow for it to be changed, it cannot be changed. It can never be changed. Right? But if Allah has caused for something to happen, even if the whole world tries to stop it, they can't stop it. As Nabi Muhammad SAW told his own cousin, Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, once they were riding on a I think it was on a camel or a donkey, right? They were riding together on an animal, right? And Sayyidina Ibn Abbas was riding behind Nabi Muhammad SAW on the same animal. And Nabi Muhammad SAW, Sayyidina Ibn Abbas is his cousin, but a very young cousin. And Nabi Muhammad SAW probably he is above 50 years old or almost 60, and his cousin was only 11 or 12 years old. A very young cousin of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? This cousin was born in the years of the boycott. So that means he was about 13 years old when Rasulullah SAW passed away. So he is a very young cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, but very clever. Very clever, very hardworking, a very diligent person. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas. His name is Abdullah bin Abbas, the son of Al-Abbas. Al-Abbas is the uncle of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So one day, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was on an animal, and his cousin Sayyidina Ibn Abbas was riding behind him, like a pillion lah. Ay tumpang yan, like a pillion, was riding behind him. And the cousin maybe at this time around age of 9 or 10, around that, or 11, maybe very young, very young. So Nabi Muhammad SAW said to him, "Oh young boy," we know he's young because Nabi Muhammad SAW called him young boy. Ya ghulam, oh young boy, I'm going to teach you some things. I'm going to teach you some facts of life. Teach a what? A 10-year-old facts of life. Yes, teach a 10-year-old facts of life or 11-year-old facts of life. That's why I keep teaching you all facts of life. Right? You're not too young. You're not too young to know the facts of life, right? And to try and handle your own life, right? Because you have your own life to handle. Your parents can't handle your life for you, right? You have to handle your own life. And you know that if you die, you will handle your own questions in the grave, and you will handle your own questions in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Correct? We all know that, right? Scary, right? It's very scary. Your parents can't help you. Nobody can help you. If Allah does not allow. If Allah allows for people to help you, they can help you. If Allah does not allow for people to help you, they cannot help you in any way at all. They cannot help you in any way at all. Right? So, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught his cousin, Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, who was only 10 or 11 years old, very young boy. And he said, I will teach you some words. I will teach you some things. First thing he said, guard over Allah's commandments. Now, what's the first thing? Guard over Allah's commandments. And Allah will guard over you. Right? So if you make it your duty, right, to guard over what Allah commands, that means you do what Allah commands. You do it. Allah will protect you. You will be protected. Right? Allah will guard over you in this world and the next world. Second thing, he said, be mindful of Allah. That means always remember Allah, and you will find Him in front of you. What do you mean by that? You will find Allah in front of you. That means wherever you go, however you are, you will always straight away find Allah's help there. If you always remember Allah, no matter what happens to you in life, you will find Allah's help. Allah is in front of you. Allah is with you. Right? Because the people in your life, you can depend on them or you cannot. Right? Because not everybody is there all the time. Right? Sometimes they're too busy. Right? In fact, a lot of times they're too busy. Right? And people die. Right? So people do, we die. People die. So if you keep depending on people, will you find times whereby they're not going to be there? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. All of us, we will. We will find times whereby you can't depend on the people around you. You cannot. Because they are people. They're not God. Right? They are people. Right? So when someone says to me, I realize that, I had a student before say to me, I realize that I can't depend on you, Ustazah. And I say, good. Realize that you can't depend on me. You can't depend on your parents. You can't depend on anybody 24 hours. Right? You can't depend on any of these people because they are not God. I said, good that you finally realize you can't depend on me. Good. Right? Finally you realize that the only one that you can depend on is Allah. That's good. I'm trying to tell you that. Right? Trying to tell people, stop depending on me. Stop looking at me. Stop trying to ask from me. I'm not God. Your parents aren't God. Right? Are your parents God? No. Your parents are your parents. Right? And a lot of times, people might disappoint you. They might fail you, whether or not they choose to sometimes. And sometimes they don't even want to disappoint you, but they do. Sometimes they do. They disappoint you sometimes, right? And it's not in their hands. It's not their choice. They want to disappoint you, but they do. People disappoint each other. So people do all the time, right? But will Allah ever disappoint us? Never. And Allah will never, has never disappointed us. Do we disappoint Allah? Maybe a lot of times, maybe a lot of times, right? We do things that we know maybe Allah disappointed in me. But we know that Allah is merciful. So we know we can keep running back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know there's never anything that we can do in our life that will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never accept us if we call to Him. The only one who blocks, the only reason why someone can be blocked from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is if they block themselves from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But for as long as you cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will answer you. Straight away He will answer you. Allah is waiting for people to call to Him. Right? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is kind. Allah is kind. Allah is merciful. So He said, remember Allah, and you will find Him in front of you. That means you'll find Him there for you. He's always there for you. You see, Nabi Muhammad SAW is teaching his young cousin this. Showing his cousin, don't depend even on me, the Prophet. Don't even depend on the Prophet. Because he will die. And Nabi Muhammad SAW knows he will die in a few years. At that point in time, maybe he was already 5 years before his death. Then he will die. And he's not around anymore. Right? And then who are you going to depend on? This when Nabi Muhammad SAW passed away, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, he got up and he said, those of you who worship Muhammad, know that Muhammad is dead. He has died. And those who worship Allah, they know that Allah is alive and will never die. So that's why if you want to depend on anyone, who do we depend on? Allah. If you want to call to anyone, call to who? Allah. If you want to complain to anyone, complain to who? Allah. If you want to cry to anyone, cry to who? Allah. Right? It is foolishness. It is foolishness to be a fool. It is foolishness to keep trying to depend on people. Call people, text people, ask people, this people, that people. And sometimes you'll find that they are too busy. Or they have their own families to handle. Or they have their own jobs to handle. Or they have their own things to handle, right? And so what do? Take a wudu, take a sujadah, go to your prayers, pray to raka'ats, ask Allah. Correct? If you can't pray, just sit there and dua. Ask Allah. Easy je. Straight away Allah answer you. Right? Allah will answer you straight away. If you call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not like me. If you message me, maybe about 2 weeks later, I will reply you. Or 3 weeks later, I reply you. I am not very good at replying messages. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you dua to Him, straight away the reply comes. You might not read it, but it comes. It's happening for you. Or you might not know it, but it's happening for you. MashaAllah. Okay. Okay, wait. Then what else Nabi Muhammad SAW said to Sayyidina Ibn Abbas? And then Nabi Muhammad SAW said, it's a beautiful hadith. Nabi Muhammad SAW said, if you ask Allah. And if you I don't remember the hadith, okay? If you ask Allah. If you seek help from Allah. And know, and he's telling his cousin, know that if the whole world gathered together to give you something that Allah has not written for you, they can't do it. They will never be able to do it. And know that if the whole world comes together to stop something from happening for you that Allah has written for you, they can't do it. Right? Everything is settled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why for what ask people and for what depend on people when Allah is controlling everything. Correct? Right, so understand that. So what did Nabi Muhammad said to his cousin Sayyidina Ibn Abbas? Remember? 5 things, right? Are there 5 things? First one, guard over Allah's commandments and He will protect you. Right? Second one, remember Allah, you will find Him with you. Right? Third one, if you want to ask Allah. If you want to seek help from Allah. then no, if everyone came together to give you something that Allah did not write for you, it will never happen. And if everyone came together to stop something from coming to you, but Allah has written it for you, they can never stop it. Okay, there is 5 things that he told Sayyidina Ibn Abbas. If you understand these 5 things, you are set for life. You can grow up well, and you can be a very healthy young adult, and you can get through life without feeling depressed, without feeling anxious, without feeling worried, without feeling anything. Because you have Allah, right? You have Allah. A lot of people have all these feelings because they're not attached to Allah so much. So they feel, like when you feel worried, right? If you trust, you know what? Okay, you feel scared about your results. For example, you feel scared. Okay, I did my exam, I'm feeling scared about my results. I did my test, I'm feeling scared about the results. You tell yourself, you know what? Whatever it is, right? Allah knows already. Correct. That means Allah chose that for me. I tried my best. Trying your best part is part of your ibadah. That is your ibadah. That is your worship. Trying your best. But whatever comes after that, it's up to Allah, right? So if someone tried really very hard, and I had a friend studied so hard for an exam, and then read the wrong date. She actually read the wrong date of the exam, and she did not appear for the exam. Missed a big exam in university. It was university exam. Caused for all her grades to crash because she got F. She's A student, A student. But see, this is the kind of thing, right? If Allah has caused it to happen, it will happen. So she's so diligent, so careful. But for some reason, that particular exam, she read the wrong date. She read that it's on Thursday, and she's on Wednesday. So she didn't appear for the exam. Nobody called her because it was some exam that was not in our course, in an outside course. No one called her, right? Then on Thursday when she came, she found nobody was there. You said, wow, she studied so hard for the paper. So it could be you put in your very, very best. But if Allah says, you know what, that paper is going to be a fail for you, it will be a fail for you. Right? Do you get crushed and upset and depressed? No. You say, okay, you know what? I tried my best. I don't have no idea how in the world I saw it to be Thursday and it appeared to be Wednesday. Right? It has happened. It has happened. Don't be upset. Allah has His plans. Allah wants something for you. Right? Maybe He does not want you to go to a particular course that you wanted to go to. Maybe it's not good for you. Or maybe He doesn't want you to get to a job that you really wanted to. Maybe it's not good for you. And maybe He doesn't want you to go to a particular school that's not good for you. Right? Maybe, right? So you don't know. All that's on you is to try your best. And then if Allah wants to give you a C, okay lah. Right? But it's on you to try your best. Whatever comes out, okay. Whatever Allah wants. Because Allah wants you to go this way. So He will close some doors for you and He will open some doors for you. So when you think of it that way, right? What's the worst that could happen in this life? Right? What's the worst that could happen? Right? So whenever you feel, worried or anxious or scared or whatever, think to yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Get all F. Okay. And then I'll figure something out. Right? It's not the end of the world. Correct or not? It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. There are people who kill themselves because of exams. Why? It's just an exam. It's just an exam. It's not Yawmul Qiyamah. Like, if it's Yawmul Qiyamah, different story. I mean, it's like, if you're doomed to the hellfire, you will scream and shout and do all you can to get out of the hellfire. But whatever happens in this life, if it happens, happens lah. Dah lah. Right? Get on with life. Correct or not? Right? So, alhamdulillah, at a young age, understand this. So when you grow older, a lot of things will not bother you. Like, all you know is try your best. And whatever happens, khalas. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Right? Don't beat yourself up about it. Khalas. Right? And teach your friends about these kind of things. Right? Some people, they get so worried about a lot of things. They get so anxious. They get so, they get so bogged down by it. And they get depressed even. As if the whole world crashed down around them. But you're like, it's only a maths paper, see? Like, oh, it's only a science paper, see? That's it. On the day of judgment, it's not going to be questioned. Right? It's not going to ask you for your science results. When you come out for your science. So will ask you that? Will ask you what you get for your PhD? Right? Will you be asked that? Nobody's going to ask you about that. Allah will ask you, give me your solar records. Solar records going to show. Solat. Where's all your Zuhur? Where's all the Asar? Where's all the Maghrib? Isha? Subuh? On time or not? Right? That's what's going to be checked. Correct. Right, your words. How do you speak to your parents? How do you speak to your teachers? How were you with your friends? All this is all be checked. Your results irrelevant. I'm saying for you all to be lazy. Right? Be hardworking in school. Good. It's good to be hardworking. The hardworking part is the point, not the results. A lot of people think that it is the results that's the point. No, the point is the hardworking part. Allah gives you reward for being hardworking. He does not give you reward on your A's, right? Maybe your parents do, or maybe your teachers do. They don't. And this is the thing about this world. The world rewards the A's. They don't reward the hardworkingness. Correct or not? Some people don't really work so hard, get A. They get reward. Some people work so hard, get a D. But they work so hard and they get a D. Allah rewards what? Effort. Correct or not? This is the great thing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah sees effort, not results. Because results Allah give. Right? Effort you put in. So Allah rewards effort, mashallah. The world does not care about your effort. They only care about your results. Show the sit. So what you get. Right? All the world show. The world wants to see, correct? And that's why you say it's unfair. Some people have the talent and some people don't. Right? And Allah does not judge that because Allah is the one who gave the talent. Correct? So Allah's going to see what are you going to do with this talent. If Allah gave you the ability, very high intellect, what are you going to do? You're going to learn how to read the Quran well? Or are you going to ignore the Quran? Are you going to learn, to do your religion or to pray well? Or are you going to focus all your intellect, on a subject and then ignore your salat? Allah's testing everyone. Subhanallah. Okay, let's see. Okay, so remember the 5 things that Nabi Muhammad SAW told Sayyidina Ibn Abbas. Remember? First thing. What was the first thing? Yes, guard over Allah's laws and He will protect you. Number 2. Yeah, well done. Always remember Allah and you'll find Him with you. Number 3. If you ask Allah. Number 4. If you seek help from Allah. Number 5. You all tak hafal. Must write down on the whiteboard already. Number 5. If the whole world came together to give you something that Allah did not write down for you, you will never get it. And if the whole world came together to stop something that Allah wants to give you, they cannot stop it. The first one, guard over Allah's laws, Allah will protect you. People wonder, how come I feel hurt? How come I feel pain? How come I'm this? How come I'm that? Must ask, what did I not do that Allah commanded me to do? Did I sin recently? Did I do any sins? Did I do anything wrong? Ask yourself that. Right? So guard over Allah's laws, Allah will protect you. Remember Allah, you find Him with you. If you ask Allah. If you seek help from Allah. And know that if the whole world came together to try and give you something that Allah says is not for you, it will never come to you. And if the whole world came together to try and stop something, right, that Allah says is for you, they cannot stop it from coming to you. Right? Whatever has been written, the pens have been lifted, the pages have dried. And that means everything is written for you, is written. You can't change it. MashaAllah. And that's why if you're going to ask Allah lah. Not ask anybody else. Right? MashaAllah. So Nabi Muhammad SAW, how he teaches people, yes? What's that? Continue story later. We see how. Okay, I want to read the book first. Isha don't know the story, that's why. Last week's story. Okay, thus. Okay, let's see. So this life is never about what he has written for you. Instead, it's about your response. See? It is your effort, your response. How are you going to take it? Right? To what? To that which which has been written. Thus, we're on page 27. Thus, the measure of success is not what he has given you, for he gives to whomsoever he wills. Instead, the measure of success is what you give in return, right? Or in turn. So, whatever Allah gives you, for example, Allah gives you $1 million, for example, He gives you some money. So, what are you going to do with that money? Should I ask? What are you going to do? If they say right now I give you $1 million, what's the first thing on your list? What's the first thing on your list? Come on, give me a good answer. Donate, yes. Before that. Go umrah lah. Go lah umrah. Bring your whole family go umrah, kan? This is the first thing on my list. If I have $1 million right now, first thing on my list is bring all my family go umrah. Right? Go umrah, go hajj. You can go hajj lah. Right? Because hajj is wajib. Correct? If I have $1 million right now and I can go for hajj, I go for hajj. So I keep money aside, keep for hajj for next year. You go for hajj. Bring the whole family go for hajj. Belanja everybody go for hajj. Right? And then, after you go and do your umrah and your hajj, right? And then you donate. MashaAllah. And after donate, what else will you do with the money? Pay off for people's loans. Anybody who has debt, right, they have utang and they have debt, you pay off for them. Right? Because debt is what stops people from entering paradise. If you have debt, it can stop you from entering paradise. Even if someone died as a martyr, as a shaheed, right, they enter paradise except if they have debt. Utang. So as far as possible, don't borrow money. Try your best never to borrow money. Right? So if you have debt, pay off. If you ever, like in the future, if you grow older or whatsoever, and then you borrow money for your studies, or you borrow money to buy a house, or you borrow money to buy a car, or whatever, make sure you pay off. And pay off quickly. Right? There was once a man who passed away, and then Rasulullah SAW asked, does he have debt? And does he owe anybody money? And then the son said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, he has this amount of debt. Then Rasulullah said, I won't pray over him until someone can assure me that they will pay off the man's debt. And the one who has died. So one of the men there said, Ya Rasulullah, I will pay off. I promise, I'll pay off. And I'll pay off his debt for him. I said, okay. So then Muhammad prayed over the man. After a few days, Rasul saw that person who said, I'll pay off for the dead person's debt, right? So that person. So he said, have you paid off for his debts, the one who died? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah, I'm not yet. I have not collected enough money yet. Then he said, okay. Then the next time he saw him again, he said, have you paid off for that person's debts? Then he said, Ya Rasulullah, I haven't, Ya Rasulullah. And then he said, okay. Then the next time he saw him, he asked, have you paid off for that person's debt? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah, no, Ya Rasulullah. So to the point whereby this person is now trying not to bump into Rasulullah SAW, because Rasulullah will ask him, have you paid off for that person's debt? So eventually he finally managed to pay off for that person's debts. Then he went to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, I have paid off that man's debt. Then Rasulullah said, Alhamdulillah. Now he can enjoy himself in the grave. Before this, he could not enjoy himself. He was hanging like that. He cannot enjoy himself. So that's why I'm having debts. So if I have a lot of money, I will go around paying off for people's utang. I'll pay off all their debts. Right, to help them out. If they die, inshallah, they're safe. Right, Umrah, Hajj, debt. Right, and then, of course, give out in charity. How you give out in charity? What should you prioritize when you give out in charity? A lot of things need charity, right, in the world. What will you prioritize? You don't know. Okay, for me, I'll prioritize war-torn areas. Refugees in war-torn areas because they're really suffering there. Okay, I'll prioritize money there. And then elsewhere, schools. Right, I'll prioritize schools and wells. Right, wells to build water. All around the world, a lot of people have no access to clean water. Right? But no lah, where to put your money? If you got money, what do I do with my money? But you all got no money. Enough money to think about all these things. But think about it. At least you make niat. At least how you intend, Ya Allah, if I have $1 million, right, I niat. Remember the story I told you about the man who niat, the entire mountain became, if this mountain was green, I will give this entire mountain in charity to my people. That told the story? About the man who did that? No. Are you sure? Okay, there was a man in Bani Israel, the hadith of Rasulullah, whereby his people were suffering from famine, from hunger. And he was walking out, and he was feeling very upset that his people were suffering from hunger. Right? So he was walking out, and then he saw, a huge mountain. And he just had it in his heart. It was just in his heart. He said, Ya Allah, if this mountain was grain, and it was food, I would feed my entire town, Ya Allah. And on the day of judgment, Allah raised this man. And this man found on his account of good deeds a mountain of grain given out in charity. And the man said, Ya Allah, what is this? I've never given out a mountain of grain. I used to be poor in the world. I didn't own a mountain of grain. And Allah said, don't you remember that time when people were all suffering and you went out and you saw a mountain, right? And you said, Ya Allah, if this mountain was green, I will give it out in charity. Allah said, I wrote that down for you. By your niyat, I wrote that down for you. And I gave you the reward of that. So Allah is generous. You just think on it. Just think on it. But be sincere in what you think. And he was sincere. Like, if it was food, he would give it out already. So because of that, Allah wrote down for him already. And on the day of judgment, he found it. On his scales of good deeds. It was there. A mountain of grain given out in charity. You know how big is a mountain or not? Mountains are huge. Can you imagine all that charity for you on the day of judgment? So you need, Ya Allah, if I have $1 million, if I have $1 million, first thing, I will pay for all my family members to go for Hajj. First thing. Then, if not Umrah, then I'll go and pay off everybody's debt. Then I'll go and give food to the people who are suffering, in Syria or Palestine or Rohingya or wherever they are suffering there. And then I'm going to build wells, Ya Allah. Your money really finished anyway then. And then never mind. And then I got another 1 more million. And then I will make schools. I'll fund schools all over the world. They all need money for their schools. A lot of schools need money. A lot of madrasas need money. I'll give them all the money to pay off for their building and pay off for their land and pay off for everything. And I make education all free for everybody. Wow, so much money. So you just niat. InsyaAllah, on your judgment, you see, wow, mashallah, I did all that. I want you to be sincere in your niat. If really this money comes into your hands, will you do that? Will you do that? Say, yeah, I will do that. So you won't say, oh, I'll buy a Lamborghini. No, nonsense. I no need to buy expensive cars. Nonsense, right? There's no need to buy expensive cars, right? No need to buy expensive houses. No need to buy. People are dying of hunger. All right. That day I asked, was it your class or another class? I asked whether is it justified that they spend millions of dollars on their space expeditions. Do you know how much they spend on that? To send a rocket ship into space. Millions of dollars. And on the earth, not in space, on the earth, people are dying of hunger. Justified or not? Not right. Think about it. Think about it. Just to put, you see online, they even tried putting a monkey in space. So weird. Right, human beings do ridiculous things. Right, they actually train a chimpanzee to be in a rocket ship and to go to a moon. We put a chimpanzee on the moon. Good. Spend how much? A few million. And people in Africa are dying. Are you crazy? Right. Now you think, what is wrong with them? Like, why are they spending so much money to put a monkey on the moon? And the monkey pun stress. I think the monkey will be very, very stressed. Right, to be in a rocket ship to go to the moon. Why would the monkey want to do that? Right. At the same time, they're on the same earth as people who hardly even have $1 a day to survive. They don't even have food to survive or clean water. They spend all that money to make a rocket ship. To do what? Handle the earth first lah. Why you want to go moon for what? Do what at the moon? Right. Do what at Mars? You want to go to Mars all the time. Go to Mars, go to Mars, go to Mars. Do what at Mars? Do what? Stand there. Take picture. Come back. For a few $1 million. Stay home lah. Right? MashaAllah. But this is what human beings are. Like human beings, Allah says human beings waste. They waste and they don't know how to prioritize. Okay. So now you all make niyat, okay? Make niyat, what if I have $1 million? We niyat. So insyaAllah, on the day of judgment, you're going to find it on your skills. And be true to your niyat. I'm not joking. Be true to your niyat. Like the man was surprised when he found it on his scales. Right? He was like, hey, how come it's on my scales? It's all hadith. Hadith, Rasulullah will tell us about the future. So you're wondering, how come he know about it when it's not day of judgment yet? Because Allah told him about the future. Okay. If a rich man chooses to spend his wealth in charity, perhaps then he is successful. If he chooses to furnish himself with materialistic things, ignoring the poor around him, perhaps he has failed. Just what we're talking about, right? Put a man on the moon and say, oh, success! Put a man on the moon. And then what? Does it feed the poor? No, right? On the day of judgment, they get any reward for doing that? No, right? And Habib Omar, he will say, these people, they're so proud and so happy for putting a man on the moon, and they still have yet to worship the creator of the moon. They work so hard to put a man there, but don't know how to worship the one who made the moon. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's more important. Go and worship the one who made the moon first. And then get to think about putting a man there. Why want to put a man there for what? I don't know. Like, why do human beings want to put a man on the moon? You ever thought about it? Do you even care? You don't care, right? You couldn't care less. But then how much did they spend? The money they spend on that is ridiculous. Okay, and the amount, I can't even go on and on. But the amount of money they spend on war what? on war equipment and weapons. You know how much money they all spend? Also in the billions, they spend on war equipment and weapons. Astaghfirullahalazim. When people are suffering from hunger every single day. Okay. If a knowledgeable man chooses to dedicate his life by sharing his gift of knowledge, perhaps he has succeeded. If a knowledgeable man chooses to use his knowledge to perch himself on a pedestal and ridicule others, perhaps he has fallen. He has failed, right? So if someone is arrogant about their knowledge, they are a failure. If they have scored, like the best grades and they are arrogant about it, they are failures, right? But someone who, whatever grade they have, they share with other people their knowledge, right? They are successful. What we have been given in this life, sometimes it does not determine our success as a person. It is our attitude and response towards them that makes all the difference. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gift us the guidance and tawfiq to choose closeness to Him and His beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our measurement of success, regardless of what He has written for us. So sometimes in order to help, He makes us cry. Happy is the eye that sheds tears for His sake. Fortunate is the heart that burns for His sake. Laughter always follows tears. Blessed are those who understand life blossoms wherever water flows. Where tears are shed, divine mercy is shown. MashaAllah. It's by Rumi, MashaAllah. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Let's open our other book. You want to continue the story? Of Bursisa. When last year I told the story about Bursisa. Some of you here were not here. You were here, right? You remember the story? A little bit. She only remember a bit of the story. You were not here. You were here. You were here. I know she was here. Yushira wasn't here. And Anissa wasn't here, so right? Last week. Yeah, so I must retell the story. Do I have time? Let's. But I want to open this book. Okay, later I will continue the story of Bursisa, okay? Okay. Let's see. But the story of Bursisa is a long story. You can find it on my Facebook. It's on my Facebook. If you all want to find the story of Bursisa, I put it up, I think a long time ago. It's on my Facebook somewhere. If you have no Facebook, then ask your mother to go and find for me. It's somewhere on my Facebook. Okay. Okay, we are at page 14, correct? Of this book. We're at page 14. Okay? We're at page 14 and where are we reading? Taqwa is of different levels. Are we there? Taqwa is of different levels. The first level is to avoid disobedience and illicit things. That's how I brought in the story of Bursisa, right? To avoid sinful things. This is an obligation, wajib, for you to do. Fard. The second level is to avoid doubtful matters, and this is painstaking scrupulousness, wara. And the third level is to avoid excessive indulgence in permissible things. By this, I mean those things which are only used for fulfilling one's desires. Taqwa regarding this is considered true abstinence, zuhud, if one feels comfort and enthusiasm while abstaining from these things. Whereas it is forced abstinence, tazahud, if one finds it difficult to abstain from them and must strive to do so. If a person avoids something for the sake of other people, or out of fear of them, or desiring something from them, then he has taqwa of them, and does not have taqwa of Allah. The one who has taqwa of Allah is the one who is mindful of Him, seeking His good pleasure, desiring His reward, and fearing His punishment. Let me explain this whole thing. Okay, I think it's a bit hard, right? The whole thing, the whole paragraph is a bit hard. Okay, first thing, taqwa is of different levels. Let me draw on the whiteboard. Draw on the whiteboard. Okay, I don't know the levels. I'll finish the business only, okay? Okay. So, taqwa is the person. Okay? Taqwa is in the heart. Alright? What is taqwa? Remember I told you 3 meanings of taqwa? Remember? First one, fear of Allah. Okay? Awareness of Allah. Together. Okay. Togetherness. Is it a word, togetherness? Okay. Togetherness. Is it okay? Okay. Taqwa has this. Okay. Fear of Allah. Awareness of Allah. Togetherness with Allah. Is in levels. Alright? So most people have this fear. They are scared. They're scared of what? Allah being angry. Correct? They're scared of what? Punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are scared. And this fear, and takut, I say in the Malay word takut. Sounds the same. It sounds similar, right? Sounds the same, right? And probably it's true the same. Right? So most people have, they fear. They fear sinning. They fear punishment. They fear being far from Allah. They fear losing their Islam and their iman. Don't you fear that? Do you fear a bad death? Do you fear that? And na'uzubillah, right? Do you fear having a terrible death? Oh, you don't want to die and have a terrible death, right? You want to die in the state of sin. Some people die in the state of terrible sin and they die there. But if you can, you want to die in a good state, right? Die in sujud, you also die in sujud. Or die in Mecca, right? Die reading the Quran. Die reading the Quran. Now you all have the ideas of how you want to die. Right? How you want to die. That's what you should be doing. Right? Because you want to die. So when you walk on the street, right? What are you listening to? So you ask yourself, if I die right now, what are you typing? What are you reading? If I die right now, safe. Is it a good way to die? If right now a car comes and hits me, and I die, now but is it, let's see it happens. And there's happened in Singapore, right? The story with two brothers who were in school. Primary school. I think a few years ago. Or maybe about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Two brothers. Live so near their primary school. You know what school? And they were on the pedestrian path. Not on the road, so on the pedestrian path. A truck swerved, hit the whole thing in the spot. Right there. So, did they think that is their last day? Most people don't. Most people don't think it's their last day. So that's why we have levels of taqwa. Okay, one. Which is this is Hassan, right? Avoiding. One is avoiding sin. And two is avoiding okay. Doubtful matters means it's not clearly haram, but not clearly halal. You don't know where it stands. So what do? Avoid it. We have enough halal in this world. To go with the halal. So you're not so sure what's the ruling, whether it's halal or haram, whether it's permissible or not permissible, whether it's sinful or not sinful, stay away. Right? We have enough halal things in the world. Correct? You stay with the halal. Correct. The last one, avoiding too much permissible. Permissible things. Too much of. Okay, permissible things. And so there are things that are clearly halal. They are clearly halal. But too much of the rules. Right? Too much. So like for example, right, there are chocolates that are clearly. Right? The halal chocolate got clear chocolates and clearly. It's too much for clearly. What's that? Right? So I eat a bar of chocolate every hour. Right? A bar of chocolate every single hour. Right? You're crazy. Right? You're very crazy. And you're going to eat chocolate every single hour. This is madness. Is it too much? Right? If someone says, I don't drink any water at all. I only drink gassy drinks. So every bit of fluid that enters your body has to be gassy. You cannot drink water. And I know people who are like that. They don't actually drink water. They never drink. You all drink water, right? Drink water, eh? I know people, and they are people in my family. They don't drink water. Everything that they consume must be sweet. Every single thing. So like plain water is not something they drink. You're like, huh? There are people who are like that. You'll be surprised. But in Singapore, in the West, in America, there are people who are, there's this woman, the only thing she ever eats and drinks every single day, nothing else, is Coke. She lives on a Coke diet. This is sick, right? I mean, like, a bit disgusting, right? I will vomit, see, after a while. I mean, like it's just like every single day eat that one. But she says no, she will drink about up to 30 bottles of Coke a day. You're like, what in the world? People are crazy. People out there, some are crazy. Like 30 bottles of Coke a day. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But Coke is halal? No, Coke I don't know whether halal or not. I never drink Coke. I doubt Coke. Is it halal? Is Coke halal? It's halal, eh? Okay, I never drink Coke. Because I don't drink gassy drinks. Okay. But specifically Coke, I will never touch. Because it used to have a bit of alcohol inside. So ever since then, I didn't drink it. Maybe now they removed it. I don't know. But ever since last time they used to have a bit of alcohol inside, I would not drink it. Maybe until now, like habit lah. It's habitual. I just don't drink it. Because macam like, from last time, dah like, got alcohol inside. Maybe now they have changed it. I don't know. Right, but this was the last one. Is avoiding too much of permissible things. Right, something is permissible, to avoid it. To avoid too much of it. Right, so food, drinks, all these things, that is halal, clearly halal, not to have too much. Right, same thing like clothing. Right, clothing is of course halal. Right, to wear clothing, cover your aura, it's good for you. Hijab, to cover your aura, it's good for you. But should you have 100 hijabs? You only have one head. Right? And the colours that's out there is, how many colours do you have? You have green, purple. What colours do people usually wear? Black, brown, right? Blue. Right? There are only some colours you actually wear. Correct? How come people can have like 50 or 60 hijabs? Where do you find 50 or 60 colours from? One colour lah per hijab. One colour. Correct? And usually the fact of the matter is that most of us, right, we wear the same things over and over again. Correct, right? It's true, right? We have like 50 clothes maybe, but the same one. Come on, laundry only you wear. Right? Even your home clothes, it's the same t-shirt, it's the same pants. Forever that one. Even though you have like a whole cupboard of it, you just always aim for the same one. Correct? That's why. And why people have so many things? When they know they keep using the same thing over and over again. Right, this is number 3, So avoiding too much of what is permissible. Alright. And now I'll tell you a story of Bursisa. So Bursisa is on the first point, avoiding sin. Right. So the story of Bursisa, just a revision for those who were not here last week. Story of a man. This man is in the time before Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu is the one who narrates his story, the story of Bursisa. Right? Because all these kind of stories, if you know things about shaitan, about the next world, about someone's death, about the day of judgment, usually, in fact all the time, it's from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because nobody else can speak about these things. Right? Only Rasulullah can speak about these things, right? Right? So Bursisa was a man who was very pious, and he was a worshipper in his place of worship. So he would seclude himself from society. He would not go near anybody, and spend his day in and day out, night in and night out, worshipping, round the clock, worshipping, non-stop worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's of the Bani Israel. He's of the people of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. So one day in that town, there were 3 brothers who had a sister, right? And these 3 brothers were called to go and fight jihad, right? Fight in the war. So these 3 brothers, they were now worried about their sister. They have to go off and fight jihad, and their sister is left alone. So they went to Bursisa. And they said, oh Bursisa, you are the most pious person in our town. And we trust you. We trust you above everybody else. We only trust you. Can you, for our sake, and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring food to our sister every day while we are away? All you have to do, right, is prepare some food and leave it and bring it to our sister. That's all you have to do. Okay, just do that. Right? She's okay in the house by herself. I just give her food every day. And initially Bursisa said, no, never. Get away from me. You're distracting me. Right? I am worshipping Allah. I don't want to be distracted by anything else. Get away. So they said, think about it. Okay, think about it. We don't know who else to trust. With our sister. Our sister's alone at home by herself. So the brothers go off, and Bursisa is worshipping. Then Shaitan comes along. And Shaitan is how he works. He works with something that is always righteous. Shaitan, how he pulls you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is always with good things. Then he brings you to what is evil. That's how he works. So Shaitan comes along and he says, Bursisa, I whisper. So Bursisa thinks it's his own thoughts, but it's actually Shaitan. A lot of times we think it's our own thoughts, but it's actually Shaitan. There's Bursisa. Think about it. If you don't take on this task, and it's a good thing to do, to give a girl food, right? It is charity, it's a good thing. Right? And if you don't do it, the brothers will find someone else. And this person might hurt the girl, might harm this young woman. Right? You're the best person for this job. You have to accept it. So Bursisa listened to Shaitan. And he went to the brothers. He says, okay, you know what? I agree. I'll give her food every day, but so as not to take my time so much and not to distract me from my worship, I'll put the food outside my place of worship. She comes and gets it. Okay? I will not go to your house. She has to come here and get it from outside my house. Then he said, okay, fine. You know, whatever the case is, fine. Okay, we agree to that. So the boys left. The three brothers left for jihad. And the first day happened. First day came. Bursisa prepared food, put outside his place of worship. He went back and he continued worshipping. Then Shaitan came again. And Shaitan said, Bursisa, you put the food outside your place of worship. What kind of man does that? And this girl has to walk across town to get to your place of worship. People might see her and they will see that she's alone. She's a young woman. Right? Someone might harm her. Bursisa, put the food at her house. Okay? Don't have to do anything at all. Don't even have to talk to her, nothing. Just put the food there. Just do that. So Bursisa thought about it. Correct. So the next day, he prepared some food and he brought it to the house of the brothers. The girl is inside. And the sister is there. He put the food there. And then he went back. Then Shaitan came again. It is called Khutuwat Shaitan. He has footsteps, step by step by step, to drag you to hell. Oh, Shaitan. That's how he works, eh? It's not straight away, don't pray. It's not now lah, it's still too early. Wait for a while. Finish your last paper lah, finish. Do this first. That's how he works. He's not going to say, don't pray. He will say, how about this? How about that? How about this? How about that? Then you just do. Suddenly, you don't pray. That's how he works. Shaitan, he's very sly. And he has been at this thing since Nabi Adam's time. So he knows how to get to human beings. He's a pro. He knows how to do all these things. So now he whispers to Bursisa, Bursisa, maybe after putting down the food, you should just, watch from behind the wall and see if she takes the food. Maybe an animal eats it. Maybe someone else takes it. Right? So just, wait behind the wall and just see if she takes it. Right? Do that. So Bursisa thought, good idea. Okay, I should do that. Right? So he went there, put the food, then he went behind the wall and watched. After a while, the door opened and the sister came out. And the sister took the food and Bursisa looked. And he looked at the sister. And then Shaitan straight away came to Bursisa's head and his heart. She's beautiful, isn't she? Straight away, Shaitan comes in, whispers to him, she's very beautiful. Then he looked. See, that's why in Islam, if you see something, must straight away astaghfirullahalazim, right? You can't just stare at the opposite gender. He stared at her. She is very beautiful. Then she went in. Then now Shaitan has gotten Bursisa in his hands. So every day he comes and whispers, the girl's so beautiful. She's 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 so beautiful. Making Bursisa obsess about her. This is what Shaitan does. He makes people obsess. He whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper. Until Bursisa feels he has to speak to her. He must talk to her. So Shaitan says, when you put the food there, hang around. Hang around for a while. Ask her how she is. I'm sure she's lonely. And now Shaitan is working with Bursisa's nafs. The desire wants it. He desires to talk to the woman. He desires to get close to her. He desires to be with her. See now what has happened? Shaitan, at first was Shaitan doing it. Now Shaitan has linked hands with the nafs. The nafsu now doing it. Together. Now easy already. Because the nafs will agree with Shaitan. Now no matter what happens, the nafs will always agree. And because the nafs wants it. So Shaitan says, stand by the door, talk to her. Straight away red lights. It's red light because it's haram already. Haram. Cannot get close to anybody. But he did it. Because the nafs wants it. Talk and talk and talk. After a while, how about go in and have lunch with her? Haram, right? Man and woman alone in the house. Cannot. If he was vigilant and was aware, haram. I can't do that. But because he was attached to her, he was taken in by her. He was like, yeah, I should have lunch with her. He listened to Shaitan, entered the house, right, and have lunch with this girl. Like every day. And soon they became closer and closer. Haram, closer and closer. And soon, Bursisa, Shaitan whispered and whispered and whispered and whispered and whispered to Bursisa. You hear the story, right? See, I tell you the story. Whispered to Bursisa until he did the haram with her. He did haram with her. Not married to her, He's not married to her. He did haram with her. And now she's pregnant. Now the girl is pregnant. Now he panics. So now he hears the news. The people are coming back from jihad. So he panicked. The girl gives birth already. And they give birth. Got baby. The girl gave birth and there's a baby there. So now Shaitan comes. Bursisa, the brothers are coming back. And they're going to see a child in the house. How are you going to hide this? Right? So Shaitan says, kill the boy. Get rid of the boy. See, from someone who was worshipping, now done zina, now murderer. He kills the boy. Because he's desperate. Kills the boy. Wait. Kills the boy. It's not a wife. He's not married to her. Not a wife, it's a woman. Right. So then Shaitan says, do you think she will keep quiet that you killed her son? Kill her. So he kills her. That's how he ends up killing her. He killed his own son and he killed her. Because he got scared. The brothers are all coming back. Not scared of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, scared of the brothers. Right. And then Shaitan said, the brothers will get angry if you killed their sister and killed her son. Bury her in your house. Then make a fake grave outside and tell the brothers that she died of an illness while they were away. So Bursisa listened to Shaitan, right? So he took the body of this girl and the baby, buried in his own house, so nobody will find out. Went to the graveyard, made a fake grave, nothing inside. It's a fake grave, and put her name there. So when the brothers came back, Bursisa went to the brothers and began to cry. Said, while you were away, your sister fell sick, and then she died from her sickness. There is her grave. So the brothers all mourned the sister's death. Oh, our sister died out of sickness. That night, Shaitan went to the brothers in their dreams. And Shaitan told them everything that happened. Told them everything that Bursisa did. And told them the grave is empty. You go to Bursisa's house, you'll find her real grave. And in her grave, the boy is there. There is a baby boy in the same grave. So when the brothers woke up, they told each other, they all three had the same dream. They went to her grave, they dug it, found nothing there. They went to Bursisa's house, they banged the door, right? And they demand for Bursisa to be brought out. And they said that there is a grave in your house, you want to see it. And of course he denied, they barged in and they saw the grave. They dug it and they found their sister and a dead boy. So straight away they took Bursisa and brought him to the judge. So the judge, of course, judged death punishment. Was murderer, right? Death punishment. So the judge said that Bursisa will be hanged or head chopped off. But he will be killed because he murdered, right? So while he was sitting there waiting to be killed, I think was head chopped off. Waiting to be killed, Shaitan came to him one last time. Shaitan is stabbed from somebody who's worshipping in his place of worship, not giving up on worship, to now did zina and then murderer, and then now going to be killed for his murder, right? Now he's desperate. Shaitan showed himself to Bursisa. So he saw Shaitan. And Shaitan said, Bursisa, I am the one who got you into this. I can help you out. Try Shaitan or not? Don't try Shaitan. Don't try Shaitan. Say, I can help you out. Bursisa is desperate. He has forgotten Allah. At any point in time, if Bursisa wanted to, he can tawbad to Allah already. Right? Because he's still a Muslim one. Right? He can tawbad any time. He made a mistake, he committed a sin with the woman, he can tawbad. He killed the boy, can still tawbad. He killed the woman, can still tawbad. Right? Actually, at any point can tawbad, you know. At any point he can tawbad. You know, subhanallah. But he did not.
What about because he said his head was going to chop off?
He can tawbad also. He can still tawbad. He's not dead yet. And he hasn't seen the angel yet. So the angel of death has not come to him yet. He can still tawbad. But he has forgotten Allah. He's not thinking about Allah subhanahu anymore. He has forgotten Allah. So when Shaitan said, I can help you. Because if you're a Muslim, you say, no, Allah helps me. Allah helps me. And this is my akhirat safe, If this is what I can punish, is akhirat safe, right? In paradise, right? No. He trusted Shaitan. And Shaitan said, bow to me, and I will help you. That means sujood to me, and I will help you. And Bursisa sujood to Shaitan at that moment, desperate, but forgot that Allah can help him. Desperate, he sujood to Shaitan. At that moment, he was killed. So he died in sujood to Shaitan. You scary, right? Sorry. So drastic, right? How he moved from someone who was sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time to Shaitan. Why? Because he forgot Allah. He stopped turning to Allah. He stopped listening to Allah. And he kept listening to Shaitan. So eventually he died as a disbeliever. He not Muslim. He died as a kafir. Because he sujood to Shaitan. Dah, sorry Bursisa. Tragic story, it's a true story. Tragic. MashaAllah. Okay, so that was today. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. So never listen to Shaitan's whispers. It is step by step. he will go step by step. I know of many people whereby step by step they stop doing good things, then step by step they perform sins, then they get destroyed. And some of them even leave Islam. It's step by step. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It always starts from them stopping their prayers. When they stop prayers, you know already it's going downhill. And some people, they stop prayers. After a while, you find them not even believing in Allah. They stop believing in Allah. And how to be saved on the day of judgment? Right? At least you have the belief, right? At least that, right? وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان في خسر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته